It's one of Egypt's deadliest attacks in recent memory. The hush of a mosque full of people gathered for Friday prayers shattered first by an explosion, according to witnesses. Then, as people tried to get away, attackers in military uniform opened fire. And again, it was witnesses who reported they used automatic weapons and even on the ambulances there to help. Everyone was bumping into one another, but I was able to make out masked men wearing military clothing, he says. It's worth noting that the authorities have barred media from the area at the same time that it has seen a growing number of militant attacks in recent years. So the few images and information on this latest attack came either from official sources or local witnesses and social media. For years, Egyptian forces have struggled to contain an insurgency in the area, involving several militant groups. One ISIS affiliate in particular has claimed responsibility for several attacks, mostly on security forces. What's different here is the attack was on a mosque. We've seen militants target churches in Egypt, but rarely mosques. And it's not clear why this mosque, although some speculate it's because worshippers belong to the Sufi order of Islam, which some extremists view as heretical. In a speech to the nation, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi promised revenge. We will respond with brutal strength to retaliate against these terrorist extremists, he says. Shortly afterwards, security forces conducted airstrikes in the area. They also stepped up security, including at the Cairo airport. The country now observes 3 days of mourning. Nala Ayed, CBC News, Beirut.
Some Canadians know this part of the Sinai well. It's where Canada has had its largest peacekeeping force, involving some 68 Canadian soldiers. But there have been so many attacks by the Islamic State in that region, the Canadian commander had to move much of the operation further south. Not all of it, though. And documents obtained by CBC show the Sinai mission still worries Canadian commanders. Here's why. There's been a full-scale insurgency there since 2013 when Egypt's president, Mohamed Morsi, was overthrown. And Egypt can't really control it. One group has been particularly vicious there, Sinai province, affiliated with ISIS. That's the group that says it brought down a Russian plane in 2015 with more than 200 tourists on board. Typically, though, it's gone after Egyptian police and military, killing hundreds of them. That worshipping Muslims, Sufis in particular, could be targeted maybe shouldn't surprise. Extremist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda accuse Sufis of being idol worshippers, not real Muslims. In January of this year, in an ISIS magazine, there was an elaborate plot to eradicate Sufis in the Sinai, calling them a disease and vowing to wipe out the Rauda Lodge. That is the mosque attack today. It was full of workers from a salt processing company and local police officers in the middle of Friday prayers. For a village of less than 1,000 people, no home will have been spared. Support for Egypt is coming in from around the world. Canada condemns this attack and stands shoulder to shoulder with the people of Egypt in this difficult time, the Prime Minister said in a statement. The Eiffel Tower turned its lights off to pay tribute to the victims. And from the mayor of Tel Aviv, condolences to our friends across the border, he said, with the municipal building lit up like the Egyptian flag.